Hey y'all, it's Diane with Shawcraft One in my old barn door, and I had somebody ask me to show them how I do my tassels from the last book that I did. It was my Autumn Farms example journal or gratitude journal. So it's kind of the tassel like this that wraps around the top, and you just add all kinds of goodies on it. So this is a sneak peek of one of my new digis that will be coming out hopefully today if I can get all of these books finished. So y'all be looking for that video. But anyways, I'm getting ready to do the tassel on this one, and this is a sneak peek too. This is a new digi kit that I'm coming out with today too. So I'll have two. They're very similar, but I'll explain that in the other video. But anyways, so I need to do the tassel on this one, so I thought I'd go ahead and do the tutorial video while I'm working on it. So I figured we'd just get started. So basically what I do is I just take, oops, I'm pulling my cord. I have this natural polished hemp cord, and it's kind of a thinner cord. I don't know if you can kind of see the thickness of it, but it's just thin enough for the beads to fit on. And I love using this because it's kind of stiff, so it gives it some movement, but it holds the beads really well. I just like the way it looks. So see if I can pull this back in. I've messed it up, so you know what, we're just going to start all over and I'll show you what I do. Okay, so I just take some of this and I measure the length of the book. And I'll give it a little, a little bit over because I'm going to be tying a knot. And so then, wherever I'm at the bottom, I just start folding. And I'll usually go, I don't know, let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So usually about 12 is good enough. That gives you plenty of volume, I guess is the word I'm looking for. So just snip it off there. Now, since I snipped at this end, this is the end that I'm going to thread. And I want to make sure that they're all folded together the same. So I just kind of straighten it out like that, trying not to tangle it. Let me move some of this stuff out of the way. And then I just keep it kind of folded in a loop like that. So on the spine of my book, I have an eyelet. I made a hole at the top and I put a little eyelet through. And so I'm going to open the book up, and I'm going to thread this loop through the inside of that loop. Now sometimes it's a little bit difficult, and what I'll do is I'll take, well, it went through fine that way, but normally if I have a hard time with it, I'll take like tweezers or something to pull it through. So then once I get it through the hole, hoping y'all can see this okay, I then spread my loop back out, and I make sure that all the loops are spread out. See, there's one I'm missing right there, and I kind of line them up so that my finger can go through all of the loops. Then I'm going to bring this up. Make sure you go through the inside, because if you don't go through the inside, your tassel is going to hang down inside. Like if you string it through the outside, your tassel will hang down on the inside of the book instead of the outside. Okay, so I'm just going to loop that through, and then I'm just going to tug. And I'm not going to tug too tight because I don't want to pull my eyelet out of the hole that it's in. So, and then I'm just going to kind of wiggle it back and forth, and that's going to get it as tight as I need it. Okay, so then we have something that looks like that. And then I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to come down here to the other end and I'm going to cut all of the loops down here. I didn't cut that very good, did I? My scissors are slightly dull. Okay, so now I have my tassel. It looks pretty plain, huh? But once you get all the beads on it, it's going to look so cute. So let me grab some beads and we'll just get started. Let's see. Okay. So then all I do is I just string my beads on here. So I have all kinds of different little beads. I have wooden beads. I have this little set of beads that my friend Sarah sent me. I use those all the time. So thank you, Sarah. I have these beads and blah, blah, blah. I have all kinds of beads. So this one is kind of going to be more of a vintagey style book. So those are the colors that I'm going to go for. I want more of a vintage style beads on here. So I'm just going to start picking and choosing beads at random. So see, I love this one. Super cute bead. But notice how large the bead hole is. So you're going to need something to go along with that, you know, to make sure that it stays in place. So I'm just going to pull a few beads out and lay them here so that I kind of know what I'm working with. Let's see. And I want to make sure that I get beads that aren't going to go through the hole of that big bead. So see, that's going to go through the hole, but I'm going to lay it there anyway because I'll probably use it eventually. But I kind of like these cream color beads, so we'll start with that. So basically, I'm just going to take a string, just one string at a time, and I'm going to string my beads on. Now, because of the way I cut that, it's jaggedy, so I'm going to cut it again and get a good clean cut so that it'll bead a little easier. Okay, so I'm going to string that one through. Then I want my big bead. And then I want this one again. And then I think I want like a little brown bead cap type deal. Okay. And then I might need something a little smaller hole than that, but we'll see. I'm going to try and make this work. See if I have anything. I kind of like that. That one's cute. A little different. So we'll try it. So we're just going to string that on. Let me just look and see what it looks like. I don't like that. We're taking that one off. Okay, so once I have my beads strung onto my strand, I stand my book up so I can kind of gauge where it's going to hang on my book and what looks good to me. And I kind of like it right there. So I'm going to scoot those beads up, holding where I liked for the knot to go. And then I'm just going to start tying. And I usually tie either 2 or 3 times according to how big the hole is in the bottom bead, so that I can make sure that that bead's not going to slip over that knot. I want to make the knot big enough to hold it without sliding through it, so that your beads don't come off. So I'm going to do this one 3 times. And voila, there we go. So we have that strand of beads tied on. So then I just kind of keep going through and picking and choosing beads to put on each strand. And you don't have to have that many beads on each strand. You know, sometimes I just have 1 or 2 beads on a strand. trying to find some cute ones. I like this one, but I don't think that hole's going to be big enough. But this one, the hole will be big enough. But I think I want a bead on top and a bead on bottom of that. So let me see what else I have here. And you always have to find beads that are going to have a hole that's going to be big enough. So let's try this combination. So I'm just going to string my bead on. Okay, now there's something in the hole of that bead. So I have this little thing here that I got from, oh gosh, I've had it forever. This is what I poke the holes in my journals with to sew them in. I got it from May Made It a long time ago. This one wants to be a little difficult. Okay, so I like that, and I think I want that one to hang a little lower than the other one. So now that I know where I want to tie, I'm going to come down here, push my beads up and out of the way so that they're not getting tangled up in my knot while I'm trying to tie it. And then I'm just going to tie it off. Just like that. There you go. So then you just keep going and keep adding beads. So I don't know if I will make you watch me do all of the beads on all 12 strings, but we'll go for a little bit. I have some really cute, come this way. I like these, and I like this color for a vintage style. So I have this, and I have this, I'm just kind of picking some beads that I think will look good, and then I can decide where I want them on the strands. These are some glass beads. Oh, and I have this little heart bead. I like that one. Okay, so we'll start with these. Okay, so I'm just going to keep stringing. And this top cord material, whatever you want to call it, it's a little easier to string the beads on. It's a little thicker, but it's stiffer, so it makes it a little easier to string the beads on it. And see, like this bead, I don't know if you can see it real good, but the hole is not real clear. So I'll just take this and just kind of, now they have what they call bead reamers, but I don't have one, so I just use what I've got. I don't know if I like that. And this is what I do. I put stuff on, look at it. If I don't like it, I take it off and pick something else. Okay, I like that. And then we'll do a little bead so that it won't slide through our knot. Just like that. And then I'm going to turn my book sideways, which normally I leave my book standing up, but I like to turn it sideways just to kind of get a gauge of where my beads are going to hang. So now that I know I want those to hang kind of right there, I'm going to tie my knot off right down here. I've had entirely too much coffee this morning. I'm shaky. Need to go get some water. Okay. There we go. I like the way that one hangs. I don't want them all hanging in the same spot, so I like to make sure that, you know, they're on different areas of the strand. All right, let's use the, oop, that one's gonna have to be trimmed off because I jacked it up pretty good. And see, like this one, I think I just want the heart on there. And I'm just gonna tie it off at the bottom. Now see, when I pulled, my knot came through. So I'm gonna need to tie another time or two to make my knot big enough that it won't go through the hole in the bead. Okay, so we're good with that. So I'm going to leave that one like that. And I want this one to come up a little higher. And I think I just want that bead on it. I like that bead. I like the shape of it. I like that it's shimmery. It's kind of a brown iridescent color. Okay. And the next one, I have to trim that one off. I think on this one I want a bead cap. Let me see. That's pretty. Okay, we'll try that. And sometimes I find ones that this cord don't want to go through the hole real good. So I have to kind of work with it. Now I just got that to go through that just a minute ago. Sometimes you just have to work with it a little bit, play with it. Alright, I'm going to push this through here and see if I can make that a little bigger. Sometimes I can and sometimes I can't, so we'll try it. There we go. Let's see what that did. There we go. Okay, let me just see where I want this one to hang. And then we'll tie the knot. There is no perfect art to this. It's just, this is very relaxing for me because I can get creative and just play, you know, with the beads, and there's not a whole lot of work involved, and it's just something that I can sit and do while I'm listening to music, and it's just real relaxing. So I enjoy making these tassels. I try to pull from the back first so that I can make sure I don't ever miss a strand. And you don't have to have a bead on every strand if you don't want to. You can leave some strands just free flowing. And I don't always put beads. Sometimes I put puzzle pieces. Sometimes I put dominoes. Sometimes I put Scrabble pieces. Like if I know who's buying the journal, you know, I can put a Scrabble piece on there with their name on it. Different things like that. Game pieces. All kinds of different things. Buttons. As a matter of fact, I think I'm going to add a button to this one. Let's see what kind of buttons we have. Okay. I think I want a wooden button, but the hole in this wooden button is split, so it's not going to hold it. So let's find a different one. I kind of like this one. Whoops. Ooh, that one's pretty too. We'll use those two. So what I do when I put a button on is I just thread the button. Thread it through that way, and then go back through the front to the back. And then you can slide the button wherever you want it to hang. Kind of want that to hang right there. And then I just tie a knot in the back of the button to hold it in place. Just like that. Super cute. And I might put one bead on the bottom down here just for added interest. Let's see if this bead will go. Okay, so we're going to have to open up the hole in the bottom. Try again. What's the matter, Lucy? What's wrong with you? What you doing? Okay, now I want this to kind of hang as close to the end as possible, so I'm going to tie as close to the bottom as I can possibly get my knot. And it can be a little tedious sometimes, but that's okay. Okay. I'm all kinds of tangled up here. So it looks like that. So we just have a couple more strands to go, so I guess I'll just let the video play while I'm doing it. Hopefully I'm not boring y'all. Yeah, I got like 4 more strands, so it's not too bad. Yeah, so these don't take very long to do, and they're fun to do. I enjoy doing them. Alright, let's try this one. Stop it, Lucy. No, I'm not talking much this morning, but just kind of in my own little world. Got lots of thoughts running through my head trying to get ready to release these DigiKits and what all I have to do to get them finished so that I can get them released today. So, I guess I'm concentrating real hard today. We're going to do this other button. And I want him to kind of go towards the top. If you have a hard time sliding it, just kind of do one side of the strand at a time. Like that. Okay. And then I'm going to put a bead at the bottom. And I think I want a pink bead. I think I want to add some pink in here. Let's see. Maybe a pink and a cream. Now you can get as elaborate as you want to on these. I'm kind of making them simple, just for the video's sake. And I do think I want to put a domino on this one, so I'll show y'all how I do that. I just like the look of the way the dominoes look on my tassels. Okay. I like that there, and then I think I forgot I was going to hang those at the end, but I'll just put another bead at the end down here. Let me see what I got. Maybe I'll do another pink at the end. Just have enough pink to liven it up. And I need maybe a bead cap or a small bead to go underneath that pink bead, because the hole in the pink bead is kind of large. See if I can get this strung through though. We will try. It's kind of a small bead. It might not work. And if I find one that doesn't work, well, I just find another one. These little clear beads are so hard. It's hard to see where the actual hole is. Yeah, that's not going to work. So, let me think. What else do I have? I have these little gray beads. They're kind of cute. Okay, so I want to tie as close to the bottom as possible on this one because I want it to hang as low as I can get it. Okay, so just like that. And then I am going to put a domino on this one. So let me grab my dominoes. If I would have thought about it, I would have painted the domino, but I still like the look of the domino, so I'm going to leave it. Let me get these out of the way because I'm going to need to use my crocodile. Okay, so I have my crocodile, and I know y'all are not going to be able to see how I do this, but those of you who have a crocodile, you know how it works. I'm going to put it on the smallest hole, and then I'm just going to kind of try and find, I actually want this one to hang from the corner. Okay, this one's not going to fit. I have some thinner dominoes somewhere. And that's what you have to look for. See, these are the bigger dominoes. They're hard to poke the hole through, but these are smaller dominoes. You can kind of see the difference in the two if the camera will focus. So this one's just wider than this one, so we'll use the smaller one. Okay. And then I just push through, and sometimes I break it. See, I broke the domino, so that one will have to go in the garbage, and we'll have to get another one. So that lets me know I need to go a little further into the middle of the domino versus trying to do it at the very edge. And try again. Well, that one broke too. Now, I've done this 40 times and not had a minute's trouble with these dominoes breaking. And as soon as I get on camera, you know how it goes. Every time. All right, we're going to try again. I'm going to keep trying until I get it. Aha! See, I told you I've done it before and it worked. Okay, so I got a hole in the domino. We'll move this out of the way. And then we'll find our strand. And string it through the domino. And I kind of want the domino towards the bottom. So I'm just going to tie a knot right here at the top and back of the domino, and I'm going to tie it about 3 or 4 times just to make sure that it doesn't come loose and I don't lose my domino. There. Get all my little strings out of the way. So now you can kind of see the whole little tassel. Let me see if I can do it this way where you can see it a little better. Try to zoom in for you just a little. Okay, so there's the tassel. So that's how I do my little tassels on the spine of my books. If you have any comments or questions, you can leave them below. Hit like, hit subscribe, and I really appreciate you guys watching. Y'all have a great day. Big hugs.